let's talk about the latest report on the block. The US Commission on International Religious Freedom is back in the news with its latest report, and its views on India come as absolutely no surprise to anyone. It doesn't matter whether it's Donald Trump or Joe Biden in the Oval Office, the USCIRF's consistency and its thoughts on India are admirable. The report in question recommended designating India as a country of particular concern among 15 others, including who? Afghanistan, Russia, China, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. The USCIF, remember, has a checkered history, primarily because it's considered by many countries, including India, as an instrument of US foreign policy. Despite its so-called independent status, it works very closely with the American government, and therefore the report is hardly bipartisan. Interestingly, none of the countries from the West feature in the USCIRF's list. So are we to believe that everything is uniformly wonderful in the West? Everyone is free, everything is milk and honey. Anyway, there are many holes in this report, but let's highlight for you 5 primary instances. First, the report says that authorities facilitated the expropriation and demolition of places of worship, including the construction of Hindu temples atop raised mosques. Notably, in January 2024, the Prime Minister led the consecration of the Ram Temple in Ayodhya. What the report does not mention is that this temple was constructed only on the back of a Supreme Court verdict in 2019. Second, the report claims that the Indian government replaced its criminal code with a new legislation. This new legislation, which is the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, apparently left religious minorities susceptible to targeting if they are deemed as endangering the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. What is this report referring to? It is probably referring to section 150 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita. This particular section criminalizes acts that endanger the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India. This, as anyone can see, anyone who has eyes can see, is aimed purely at combating secessionism, separatism and a call for armed rebellion, and is completely religion agnostic. You will of course be prosecuted under this, irrespective of whether you are a majority or a member of a religious minority. It depends on what actions you are taking against the country, against the state of India. Third, the report claims that the BJP introduced rules for implementing the 2019 Citizenship Amendment Act. It has been more than 5 years, but this, the CAA, remains a lightning rod for such misguided commissions on religious freedom. Again, this latest report talks about how religious minorities are targeted by CAA. How offering shelter and citizenship to minorities in our neighborhood, how does that become a danger to religious freedom in our country, is anyone's guess. We have been asking that question for the last 6 years. No answers yet. The report also claims that journalists, academics and civil society organizations documenting India's religious freedom violations reported denial of consular services, including the revocation of OCI cards, as well as threats of violence and surveillance. Now, this claim has to be seen on a case-to-case basis and can't be subjected to a sweeping generalization that whoever reports on religious persecution in India, they are surveilled or they have their OCI cards denied. Mind you, whenever a case of such alleged threat or surveillance has been lodged, it has gone through the entire process of law in India. And as for revoking OCI cards, etc. is concerned, that is done only when the Indian government has tangible proof that the rules or laws of India have been flouted by the person concerned. Secondly, let's also remember that the granting of such access is a country's prerogative. In India, just like in America, we exercise that prerogative. In this context, let's take the recent case of Ranjani Srinivasan, a 37-year-old Indian student who self-deported from the US just days after her student visa was revoked for participating in pro-Palestine protests. The American government exercised their prerogative to cancel her visa. Well, what is sauce for the goose in the US is sauce for the gander in India. Finally, the USCIRF goes beyond its brief and advises the US government to assess whether arms sales to India, such as the MQ-9B drones under Section 36 of the Arms Export Control Act, may contribute to or exacerbate religious freedom violations. Well, good luck on that, because Donald Trump, as far as he is concerned, he is on record that far from taking back, far from withholding the drone sale, he is going to dramatically increase weapon sales to India.
Starting this year, we'll be increasing military sales to India by many billions of dollars. We're also paving the way to ultimately provide India with the F-35 stealth fighters. In 2017, my administration revived and reinvigorated the Quad security partnership. In our meeting today, the Prime Minister and I reaffirmed that strong cooperation among the United States, India, Australia, and Japan. And it's crucial, really, to maintaining peace and prosperity, tranquility.
Naturally, the Indian government has rejected the claims made by the USCIRF and has called their assessments biased and politically motivated. The statement by the MEA said the USCIRF's persistent attempts to misrepresent isolated incidents and cast aspersions on India's vibrant multicultural society reflect a deliberate agenda rather than a genuine concern for religious freedom. The MEA also warned that efforts to undermine India will not succeed, and in fact, it is the USCIRF which should be designated as an entity of concern. But if you thought that all of the findings of that report sound very, very dubious, wait till you see the antecedents of some of the authors of that report. Let's first talk about Stephen Schneck. He is the chair of this commission and is a known India baiter. When the Ram temple was consecrated, what did Mr. Schneck think? He tweeted and said that the Ram temple is troubling because it has come up on the ruins of a mosque. He then went on to call an election speech by the Prime Minister religious hate speech and symbolic of religious discrimination. The second member of this commission is Asif Mahmood. He is a Pakistani American. In May last year, Mahmood peddled a conspiracy theory about India's supposed involvement in the killing of Khalistani extremists in the US, Canada, and Pakistan. Obviously, he supplied absolutely no evidence to back up those claims. He also claimed that the UP government banned 25,000 madrasas in the state only to reap electoral benefits. What he did not tell you is that the Yogi Adityanath government actually took that decision after the Allahabad High Court declared the UP Board of Madrasa Education Act of 2004 as unconstitutional. Let's talk about member number 3. Vicky Hartzler talks about religious freedoms and about how countries should conduct themselves. However, the lady herself was suspended by Twitter for her transphobic tweet. In fact, the US Senate candidate brazened it out at that time, saying that she will not delete it. So you're talking about how countries should conduct themselves, how they should be treating other people, including religious minorities. But when you are talking about gender minorities, you can be openly transphobic and you're not even apologetic about it. Look, while America plays the role of a global watchdog, such reports and such indices which periodically talk about whether you are happy or not, whether you're treating your minorities well or not, they betray an agenda. And now it has become pretty open for everyone to see, and it's about time that people and countries like India also stand up, just like we have, and tell organizations like the USCIRF exactly where they can get off.